Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Black and White United Show. I'm your host, Andreas. Thank you for tuning in with me today. In today's video, we're going to review that awful night at the G, 27-point loss to the Brisbane Lions. Roll the intro.
0, 1. Let's get started.
Today's video is brought to you by Hopper Bros Barbecue. For all your tips and tricks and everything barbecue, make sure you give them a follow on Instagram. So, where do we begin with this one here? The part of the game for me that where we lost it was the first quarter. Just letting them get those goals in the first quarter and then falling 20 points behind. We played catch up in the second quarter. I still felt like our second quarter was some of the best football that we've played in a while, probably since the Carlton game. Like the way that we caught up, the way that we controlled the possession, the way Brisbane were just trying to rush it out of our forward line, and then we just grabbed the ball, rebounded, and we were just peppering them and stuff, and then we hit the front. I'm thinking, okay, here we go. There's something there, like we're doing all right now. But what ended up happening in the rest of the game was actually what I expected us to do to them. So that was really disappointing, seeing that we couldn't control the game in the third quarter, and really in the last quarter it was just basically kick to kick between the two defenses, and then they just obviously capitalised when they went up forward. What positives do we take out of this game? Well, I'm taking Lachie Schultz as a positive out of this game. I'm taking Josh Dacos as a positive out of this game too. I thought he was fantastic throughout parts of the game. And then I thought with the whole Jordan De Goey, Bobby Hill situation, look, I'm probably more pleased for Geordie's sake because he got through the game uninjured. He got some AFL match time under his belt. With that being said, though, I did say I wanted Geordie to play as a sub, but if he's not 100% match fit and stuff like that, maybe giving him a go in the twos again wasn't the worst idea. But with that being said, that second quarter, he looked unbelievable. So, horses for courses there. They probably got the decision right at the end. The Bobby Hill decision, I wouldn't have put him as a sub either or before or after. I would have played Bobby from the start. At the end of the day, Bobby's situation wasn't injury. It was match fitness. Put him in. Like against Brisbane at the G, put him in. So I'll take them both really as a positive to the fact that they both got through the game unscathed. They've both got match fitness now, and they should be ready to go with a short period, with a short turnaround against Hawthorn. The other issues that we face now, is the backline dilemma. Now, please, if there is any indication as to why the club is pursuing Jack Silvani, this game against Brisbane is the exact example of the reason why. This game against Brisbane is exactly the reason why we are looking at getting another solid defender. Forget what club he plays for. Forget what his last name is. He is a key defender, and we need one. We need one big time, because there are other issues growing in the side in regards to the position that Dan Houston's playing, the position that Josh Dacos is playing in the defence, the depth with Charlie Dean, the depth with Markov, the form of Darcy Moore, and also the form of and then Billy Frampton and Jeremy Howe coming back in. So, believe it or not, we're probably going to see a completely different back six against Hawthorn. Now, I'm just putting it out there, just with the short turnaround and stuff that I've got on this week, also with work and everything like that. I'm probably not going to be able to get a Hawthorn preview video up. However, there will be the review video pretty much straight away, within 24 hours after the game. So I'll just put that out there to everybody. I will, however, try if I can. So, what are we going to do in regards to the backline now? There's been so much talk about Charlie Dean, and look, I think he is a little bit of a liability. Let's be real about the situation, but I don't think it's our biggest issue in defence at the moment. He's just not ready. It's as simple as that. He's not ready to play a big game like that. If we're playing against a team like Carlton, a team like St Kilda, a team like North, so it's a playing right, team like North Melbourne, maybe when we play Melbourne in a couple of weeks' time, yeah, no worries. Okay, fit him in when you need to. I would have started with Markov down back straight away. I saw Markov up in the forward line, which I was a bit, what are we doing there? But anyway, I think this game, honestly, and this is no disrespect to the coaching staff, I think this game was lost at the selection table. I watched the VFL game and I saw Billy Frampton play. Didn't set the world on fire. Actually gave away a couple of 50-metre penalties and some stupid free kicks. But you know when they go into the AFL team, obviously it's a bit different as opposed to playing against Williamstown basically on the sand by the beach, you know? So it's a strange one. I mean, 3-4 weeks ago, we're sitting, 10 points clear on top of the ladder. And now there's a chance that we could win 2 out of the next 3. And we could be finishing 5th or 6th. There's a chance that we could drop all 3. And we could finish as low as 7th. There's a chance that we could win all 3 and we finish 1st, which I don't think is going to happen. But you never know. We're Collingwood. It's the most Collingwood thing ever for us to go and smack Hawthorn, smack Adelaide away, and then beat Melbourne. And we're like, what's going on? But I don't think that's the case. There's a disconnect in the team. I think the biggest disconnect is the moving the ball forward. The biggest disconnect is from half back to half forward and that final delivery into the forward line. That's the part that I think we're going to rectify. That's the part against Brisbane I think that we lost the most. The other part is we've got kids playing against us in the forward line. There'll be no breaks between this video. We're just going straight through. We've got kids playing against us in the forward line. Sorry, our defence, they're forward, who are taking the piss. That's the part that needs to get fixed up from a defensive point of view. Every time a team's got a big forward against us, we can't shut them down. We haven't been able to shut down a big forward in God knows how long. A lot of us have beaten around the bush about it and sort of ignored it and said, oh yeah, this player kicked this. But if the alarm bells weren't ringing against Fremantle, where Darcy Moore got 6 kicked on him by an Essendon reject, let's be real, then there's major issues there. So what do we do? No more managing this team to the point where he's old or he needs to be managed or get rested. There's 3 games left this season and then finals. We're playing finals regardless, so let's celebrate that. We've qualified for finals. There are other teams who, we're still sitting second on the ladder right now. There are other teams that would be desperate to be in our position. But stop resting players if they're not needing a rest. If Jeremy Howe is fit to play, Jeremy Howe is fit to play. If Billy Frampton is fit to play, Billy Frampton is fit to play. They're in our best 23. There's going to be talks about Tom Mitchell and there's going to be talks about Ned Long. I'm a Ned Long man. I'm not going to turn around and say Ned Long had a shit game, so now we have to bring in Tom Mitchell. That's not me. I'm not that person. I'm happy to stick with Ned Long. If the club decides to, then whatever. That's their choice. If the players are available and they're fit and healthy, that's it. They've got to play. There's no more of this managing. We're not in the middle of the season now. We're coming towards the end. Stop experimenting with the side. We need to get the closest thing to a best 23 on the field against Hawthorn in a short turnaround, and that team needs to carry over to Adelaide, provided their only inclusion and the only exclusion from the Hawthorn to the Adelaide team will be Bo McCreary coming in from his hamstring. The rest of it stays the same. So make the moves, get everything sorted, because the performance against Brisbane is unacceptable. This whole lovey-dovey culture that we've got going on, fantastic. It won us a premiership. It got us, close to making finals last year. We could have done some damage if we had made the finals last year because we had that momentum towards the end. We need to be a bit more bullish. We need to be a bit more... Everyone has put the saying now that it's, Australia versus Collingwood. Collingwood lost. This is for Australia, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. That's all good. If it's Collingwood versus Australia, then that's perfectly fine. But from a Collingwood's point of view, let's make it that. Let's actually embrace it and make it us versus them. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Call it as you see it. Keep the faith. And as always, scatter pie.